I was gonna do some writing, but the thing about writing is you need to have a clear mind. Which is just an excuse for me to say that I'm contemplating it again by playing more Zelda. I wanna go beat up Ganon already. Everything's been building up to this since the very first episode of Dark Army Resurrection. And I've never been this close. I must do this.
The legendary series returns. But this time,
This'll hopefully not take too long. I just want to do a little bit of extra prep.
get ready for an ultra difficult boss. That's I already played before in my last video, so go watch that one after you get done watching this video. Wink, wink. Let's spread the violence. This is straight to get it. Just hurry up and play the game already. Oh boy, it is time, guys, to go straight to Ganon. Now you may be wondering, why did I start a brand new save file? Well, you see, Relics of the Past, the mod that we're playing on, got a brand new update recently. So I wanted to restart fresh from the beginning to see those new things, and you'll see them real soon. Alright, so we have this switch here, which was not here before, so this must be a part of the new Relics of the Past update. Let's find out what this does. Okay. Wait, what? What is this? This is the one boss coaching the battle arena, and I'm stuck here with two rolling vinyls. Now the question is, vinyls are territorial. They won't attack you unless you take out a weapon to attack them or get a little bit too close. So I say that and then they attack me. Am I wrong? I get so many people in my comment section saying vinyls won't attack you unless you take out a weapon or get too close. Explain. Alright, anything changed out there? Now let me get my glasses real quick so I can see into the distance better. I was told by the creator of this mod, you no longer need to do all 4 of the shrines in order to get the paraglider. I don't have the paraglider right now, so I guess there's still this you have to do before we get the paraglider. Maybe we just have to go to the tower first. Use this Koroks. Wait, wait, the Korok is gone? The last episode was all sad and depressed. It's gone.
Lionel not there anymore.
Like that, people is stylish. I mean, thanks, Daryl. Hopefully that this wasn't changed, right? Good, so much Daryl. Okay, well, we got stuff here. Is this the paraglider? It is the paraglider. You don't need to do it. You don't even do the tower on the Great Plateau. All you have to do is climb up here. You got the paraglider now. Well,
Alright, let's grab the we drink this.
Well, now that we have the paraglider, we actually can just go right off the Great Plateau and go directly.
Should have brought Bochi instead. Bring Feralius to combat is always dangerous.
So, in the video for montage, we're going to do a montage real quick and get all the items I need. Montage time. The hours approach and to give it your best, and you've got to reach your prime. That's when you need. Wait a second. Wait a darn second. Why are there Saul Collins in the middle of the day? Really dumb though. They're really dumb. I just want to smell the flower. It smells pretty. You know what?
I would still like it if I could get an extra Sheikah battery.
I was attacking anybody. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know.
Yeah, I'd like to fight some guardians. And get my stupid ass Lionel weapons replaced with guardian weapons instead.
It's when you need yourself to the test and show us a passage of time. We're gonna need a montage. It takes a montage. Okay, don't look old man. We gotta talk to old man.
Ah, really? Of course the Hinox has to ruin the perfectly fantastic music that was playing. Ah! 私が守る。This Guardian's getting pretty impatient, isn't he? Don't worry, it's your turn next. Assuming that guy doesn't turn into a... Damn you, Hinox. I could have sworn there were 3. Guardians to kill in this area. I guess I'm wrong. Garden here, not bad, not bad. No. the whip sword isn't all that useful.
Defense called trees. Can't believe I get more powered by trees. Yikes. That'd be mean. Flashback. Oh, no, I ran into a tree! A flashback. Alright, we're almost there. My guardian. Wait, run. What? The thinking was a first standard vessel and an archivator? Okay, so apparently getting archivators and standard vessels is a lot easier than in the past. What do I have to max out? 8 degrees. That is the same. Just got to do it.
I could get too used to this 8-frame window. Dude, why is it so hard to get them to... Frick. Seriously, this fire needs to stop. Nice. Ooh, never mind. Whatever. I thought I could do a double carry and be a cool guy. But in the end, I am a lame guy. A lame guy will always be a lame guy.
Hey, Vsauce. Nice guy here.
No!
Must be both gatehouses in order to enter the sanctum. Guys, move. My guy just walked.
Gosh!
I just got kicked out. The gator just picked me up and booted me out. They booted me out the Guardians right next to me. That's not cool. I mean, I know you don't like me, Gator, but you gotta be a little bit nicer than that. Alright, I'm going out of here. We're fine, alright? Time to do this. I just jinxed myself, didn't I? What the heck is this? They really put a Yikai member here? Fine. Don't laugh, it's not funny. What's that sound effect? It's like...
What? How long have you been playing this game? You should know that Giga Blade Masters do that noise.
That's a pretty amazing piano tone. And even if I don't be piano, there probably won't be anything. It's you can like what for that. Alright, here's the plan, guys. The plan is we need to take out these gatehouses. Or we can do that. We really need to stock up on supplies. Alright, we're to the library. Time to get knowledge, actually. Take a high look to show Bobby a little bit. I actually just... Bobby, who are these new friends you're hanging out with in the library? Oh, what the heck, Bobby? He's not. Wait, what? Where's Bobby? Did he not load? Gone. What do you mean? Right here.
No. Junior died in this episode.
Ancient Bladesaw Mark II? I didn't check. Oh my goodness. Also, holy crap. What is going on? Huh? What? What's that? How do I even see? I can't see. It's in front of my eyes. I don't know if this is really where I want to go right now, but there might be something good down here, so I'm just gonna check. Okay, that's not something good. That's something horrible. You know what? Maybe we don't go down there. I gotta get out of here. But I have a bit of an issue. Can I hit him through the wall? No, we can't. Alright, Bobby, don't fail me now. Okay. Okay.
No way.
Something okay. And, Paul. I want The other side was explosion, guys.
You know what? A do-over isn't that bad
It's like,
a
not
deal.
even that bad of a flaw. We're just in a bad part of the neighborhood. It's all it is. What is this, a Michael Bay movie? Oh, okay. What? What are my fears? I need to fight back. I can't be scared. We got this.
Boom, 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 boom.
That part?
Boom, boom.
Guys, here. Guys, here. Come on. Get this guy out. What principal's in over there? Oh, Aaron, that's Brent. Wait, the Hylian shield!
I'm not gonna bother with the horseback spear strategy.
There. I'm so glad I got this. I can see now.
This time around. We'll do this better, stronger, faster, smarter. Do it harder work. Our work is never over. First, there was a mini garden. It literally respawned the moment I took my eyes off it. Bitch! Fair it is, except it's not a high level guy. Ow. Oh fuck. Never mind, it's just a mid-tier guy. It'll do.
I'm sorry. I explored a lot, but I wanted ancient arrows, only to find out ancient arrows suck. I wonder if there's a trigger them. And now this hide up here. I like this situation a lot, except for getting shot. I don't like that situation at all. Take this! Oh no, I'm gonna. Oh, it did, but it didn't. What if we try out our brand new lights off. Mark, you gotta go all out, guys.
Sure, I'm out of healing.
Our way to by other YouTubers went straight to get it.
Alright, so far,
Oh, jeez.
we've gotten one battery.
Spin attack. Sorry. Be right around, baby, right around.
And I'm gonna save.
Like a record, baby, right around, around. Be right around, be right around. Click one. Okay.
No. There we go. Oh shit! There we go. Alright, one more and I'll be very happy. But even happier if I can get some more guardian weaponry. This will be for now. I hate.
Anyways, guys, that unfortunately is what it is for this awesome thing about us in the past, but I hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like and subscribe. Also, if you're interested in fan art, hit the art channel register for Twitter. My name is Nice Guy 9. Shoutouts to Josh, the astronauts of Rob, Elser, Elson, Rita, Luke, Casper, Warren, Deckhand, Andy, Kennedy,
Yes, look at me. I am the Capitan now. Okay, there. You know what? I think it's time to go.
Whether they get HD port for new consoles or an entirely new game altogether. But hey, let's not forget about Scene 2. God, do you remember when there was like one big 3D indie platformer that everybody was talking about? Nowadays, we got more than I can even count. I've been seeing more 3D platformers flying at the experience than ever before. So many, in fact, that it would be kind of impossible to make videos about them all as much as I would like to. So I figured, why don't I just play a whole bunch of them and jam them on the one video? Let's talk about them all, why not? So, yeah, here's a pretty rad collection of dope platformers I've been back in the indie scene these past couple of years. Maybe taking a solid look at all of them, going over what I love, what I don't like, show the mechanics, the levels, the premises, all that jazz. Let's see if we can find it. First up, we got one that I've been waiting on for about a decade. Played this game back when it was first in like alpha or something. The guy making it used to send me builds on it back when my channel was small and asked me back and stuff, and I would often be rather impressed with everything he would show me. But dude, I can't believe that it is finally out. A love letter to classic 3D platformers. Got Clive and Wrench. The evil Dr. Daukus, I don't know, the evil Dr. Daukus is messing with the flow of time, which evidently adds up to planetary destruction. So, Dr. Clive, Wrench, and Professor X go on a time-hopping adventure, collect a bunch of bullshit, and stop Daukus' influence on time and space. The Banjo-Kazooie inspiration makes it pretty obvious, but the tag with the name, about your backpack, and the collected on gameplay. The hood, it starts to become incredibly obvious that this dude's played all sorts of platformers. Not only is the game chock full of references to tons of obscure-ass 3D platformer games, but I think in this game, it feels like it's taking influence from not one, not two, but all kinds of 3D platforming classics. Characters and plot remind me a lot of Crash 3, but the main duo and areas feel more like Banjo-Kazooie. However, the gameplay and level design feels more like Spyro. Oh my god, I love how forward.
Of course, the effects to cancel out.
Dash the hover kind of looks like a hair, but it feels more like you're soaring forward. The jumping is a tad floaty. I kind of wish you had a bit more weight to the character, but it does make the platforming very easy and forgiving. With double jump on top of that too, makes it even easier. Getting yourself around is really convenient, and you got the high jump too. That thing like jumping up and crouching animation, and it is OP as hell. Look at it. And you know me, I'm the Mario 64 nut. My first thought was whether or not this was going to start to feel too screen or animated. But I was happy to see that the overtly forgiving movement ended up letting itself well to what it did here. Not everything has to be about the skill. No, it's all about exploring really interesting, fun locations that have tons of personality. Popping off and flying all over, screwing up everything fun. And with all the fun coming from the exploration, that kind of means the levels have the thing of your game, man. Well, yeah, a world that looks like this, it already seems like that's totally where all the focus went. And that's very much the case. Like, the presentation here is just a load of air. Stuff like the character animations, you know, that's not really gonna feel super high budget or anything. You can tell it's mostly a one-person endeavor this game. The attention to detail, despite that, like just how much stuff is here, it is kind of bananas. This is the sort of thing I really loved the X games for, you know, just having a reason to stop and solo poses, panning the camera over all the stuff, over the walls, you know, all the little writings, jokes, and things around the level. Oh my god, don't even get me started on the menus! The main menu is actually one of the coolest menus I've ever seen in a platformer. Everything, these little sticky notes on the bridge, dude, it is the kind of personality that we just don't really see from games anymore. They even have one of those logos where the characters pop out and mess with it and stuff. Oh my god, dude, like every little element here is just seething with that exciting imagination that 3D platformers used to be. But even more importantly, it also feels like they played enough platformers to also know what not to do. You know, I've avoided all those practical problems with most of out little games. The combat is
radar, pointing the direction of the last name.
ダルケルの守りいつでも使えるで
Wrench knows exactly what it wants to be. Focus and delivers engaging platform gameplay. Worlds are always interesting, and the movement is always fun. Seriously, I played this game for 5 hours straight. Now that's not to say the game is without its flaws, and I'm not just talking about the obvious stuff. Stuff like animation, players and hiccups, which, well, I guess I kind of can see a lot of that even on PS5, but that's of course the sort of thing as to judge gameplay, as a small project, and so the same anything it totally adds to the whole charm of the experience. Seriously, this game feels like a version of those days where size budget. Back then, it was totally okay for stuff like clipping and stiff animation to be here and there because nobody has those things. We saw the actual gameplay for what it was, and we saw the magic of the experience. So, with that said, if there's anything to critique here, personally, I would argue it's the stuff surrounding character damage. I find the feedback for taking damage isn't really super clear. The character also doesn't think during the iframes either. They training blows with enemies feel clunky. A lot of times I take way more damage than I even realized, and I would die unexpectedly because I had no idea my health was even that low. I think a stronger, more attention-grabbing visual can convey that in lost health, that can help a lot. I mean, I know the counter is there in the corner, but with so much going on in an HD screen space, my attention gets pulled away from it so much that I don't even really notice it a lot of the time. In Mario 64, you know when you get hit. Oh! Same with Sonic. Spyro. There's an invisible visual and audio cue that make that feedback snap. Live and Wrench could certainly be a lot better at that. Projectiles also sometimes really blend into the background. Really hard to dodge. This one boss fight was particularly bad. I really think they should add some sort of highlighted effect to make the objects stand out in the background a lot better. Kind of like all those flashy effects in Smash Bros. It's just something bright and easy to read to make the fight a little bit easier to respond to properly. But small stuff aside, dude, Live and Wrench is a fantastic throwback to classic 3D platformers. Putting things up to that low budget, a clear passion. All the game studios love this genre to begin with. It's endearing as hell, it's a ton of fun, and I absolutely recommend it to anybody who's a long-time fan of 3D platformers. Now, I was playing the PS5 version, so all the nice crispy footage you can look at here, it's all from that, but they also tried the Switch version real quick to see how it runs and stuff, and it's actually not much of a visual downgrade. It is 30 FPS, but other than that, all of the detail that really matters is all still here. It looks great. Moving on, we've got one with a very different tone. Live and Wrench kind of feels like a Banjo or Spyro game, then Hellfire is more like Conker's Bad. You are a cute little dude working at Hell's greatest corporation. Ask for something from head on. Like the ingredients for the shittiest, most disgusting pie of all time, because baby, it's Satan's birthday. He wants a pie just as rotten as he. So, you'll roll a series of world searching for the ingredients. Sometimes just laying around at the level, and other times you'll have absurd and raunchy objectives for NPCs. Or sometimes you'll just simply have to finish up on the platforming sequence. The whole gimmick here is this grapple. Got this ugly angel pet thing. It's kind of disgusting looking, but you can use it as a grapple. Not just any grapple. One. It's literally everywhere. A grapple point required. Combine that with a double jump and a dash move, and got a pretty variety of moves to juggle between as you soar around each area. As you unlock extra swings amongst other moves in a cool skill tree, you'll create a pretty busted-ass moveset that is OP as hell, and just let you demolish the level design, which normally I think kind of makes the levels not that fun to play, but no, they get away with it here for two reasons. A, like Live and Wrench, the fun of the game comes from exploring exploration, and you are navigating gigantic open worlds. So having the ability to really fly through them, it makes a lot of sense. And the actual sequences that do require that sort of skill still manage to be really fun and interesting because of how many freaking obstacles they got going on here. And you know, the nature of a lot of areas also really helps get the most out of the I really love that upward swing, and it's so much fun just to pop out of it, get some height real quick, and the climbing too, that also makes it all feel very fluid getting around. It kind of feels like they took a lot of notes from tons of different platformers and then sewed together this thing that not only works pretty well, but also feels really unique too. All the different horns you collect that grant you different abilities. It kind of reminds me of the Hat in Time, all the different hats you got. You got one for speed, you got a battering ram, breaking stuff. The starting one's super handy, it lets you search for anything of interest far off the distance. And I love how you're able to combine the jet horns with your grapple to get some serious momentum from the swing. Oh my god, like, literally get the timing just right every time. It is a super satisfying thing. Physics on this grapple, I gotta say, like, they definitely made sure the thing you're doing constantly feels good as hell. And of course, there is also a very strong focus on the human writing, and what you are in for one raunchy writing. Things like the in-your-face cartoonish awfulness that Whiplash had, but with the SRB rating cranked up to mature, sometimes it feels like Eric Andre made this game. I mean, the very first thing you can see after you press the start button is this. Like, I'm not gonna lie, a lot of this game did have me kind of rolling my eyes. Not every joke was really landing for me. Like the whole Ren and Stimpy humor where they just show you something disgusting. Never found that funny, not even as a kid. Always hated Ren and Stimpy, and I hated when SpongeBob would do that shit too. But luckily, the further I did play, the game was getting the occasional chuckle out of me. You know, it's more so the juxtaposition between how cute the characters are and how horribly awful the things you expect from Hello Kitty. And I mean, some of it can be a lot, right? You got these where have their meat carved out from the inside, and sold at the sushi restaurant inside the fleshy thing. As factories churning meat from these shriveled up, naked, starved human slaves, and do not hold back these things. Crash. I mean, crying out loud, this is a game where you're along with abilities by collecting these cute little critters and killing sacrificing on a terrible horse off and putting their dead bodies on an altar and treating them as bodies corpses. Would it really blame somebody for not being able to stomach some of it? In the same way that, like, finding a black sandwich, right? You got blood and guts everywhere. Some people will probably just find it gross, but it is all just a good raunchy fun, and from what I can tell, at least from when I played,
ウルボザの怒りいつでも放てるよ
Also, kind of worth appreciating how a lot of consumer explored I love these charts showing you how global warming is also affecting Hell, and the fact that apparently even Hell's offices are so freaking boring that people would rather watch a screensaver or just getting to see what everything looks like in a creepy cartoonish Hell. That's pretty much what I wanted from this game, so it was really cool seeing what a store looks like in Hell, what a business looks like, what an IT department looks like. It was really cool to see. One of my favorite missions has you defending this drug lord supply, and dude, it is a psychedelic-fueled Scarface parody, complete with a mansion shootout and everything. They straight up give you a shotgun here. Not just for the sake of some good variety, but also for the sake of that M rating. It is a delightful, bloody massacre. Rachel also constantly makes jokes, and if I'm being brutally honest, I kind of hate it. The speech bubble keeps popping up and waves around the screen. It's just really distracting and annoying. They absolutely know that though, because luckily there's an option to turn it off, so instead of just popping up and you're getting annoyed with it, don't worry, you can just get rid of it. But yeah, if I can wrap it all up in one of those simple sentences that just I'd say it's a Hat in Time meets Conker's Bad Fur Day. Cute, it's OP, but it does feel good. And the worlds are incredibly fun to get lost in and swirl around each map. All the sizes are
Alright, I've got a plan.
really good at giving you peaceful. Help eyes on pretty much everything, though I did play the Series X version for this video, and while it looked gorgeous and polished as hell, I did still notice the occasional graphical pickup. And with that said,
now I can get some guaranteed weapons.
So maybe look into that before we put up the Switch or PS4. It's a really fun game. I ended up enjoying it.
Oh, you know, since I'm here,
So I would absolutely recommend it if you're a big fan of open world like on platformers, especially if you're a fan of raunchy. Here is one I've been meaning to play for a long time. My favorite indie over at Angel's Productions, they are back at it again. Like mine, Vanadine, with the Anodyne 2, and now they're back with another experimental 3D platformer called Symphony. No, it's 7. Oh crap, I don't know now. We follow 3 scientists on their way to the Chilliwack Island of Symphony in order to study the fauna and flora there, learning about their biology and their ecosystems and whatnot. However, it turns out this island, it's like this greater ethereal being, in the same way that our own human bodies are a very complex series of smaller systems of life, interacting with each other's cells and tissue and stuff. Everything on this island, whether it be a plant or a lizard or anything, it too somehow contributes to this greater consciousness. And get this, it is just as exciting and curious of us as we are of it, as we study each creature using great called Onyx.
I want to see the colors available at least.
Watching our memories, learning the significance of human culture, how we interact with each other, our differences in language, nationality, the food we eat, the buildings we build, the music. There's a lot of fantastic characterization, exploring how the 3 protagonists are all from countries and how that shaped them and who they are now, and there's a sense of self-discovery in all of that, like figuring out who you are and what are the
alright, it just... what is that anyway? It looks like cloth, but like, considering how high the defense of this armor is.
I ended up playing as Amy for most of the game. I don't know why. I think something about looking at the color red just kind of felt natural while playing a 3D platformer. And wow, are these platforming mechanics ever unique? Like, I have not really
Oh wow, look at that. I never realized that back.
quite like this before. Like, you know, I played everything under the sun.
And it changed color.
Right now, this feels remarkably refreshing. There's 2 major move community maps in between. There's the wall run and
I don't really like any of these colors. Ooh, the pink's
to get a wall
pretty
run
funny.
going, you'll first have to get a run going. So you smack down that shoulder button and you'll lock yourself into this
I'll go color myself
that
pink.
kind of controls like hand controls you like steering the character like a car. It's got a really good sense of like delivery to it. You gotta give yourself enough room and really try to line it up. And it is also satisfying.
Oh, I just remembered why I spent all that money. Why I sold all those stuff.
It is so much fun to navigate the environments with them. You can even pull off a bunch of tricky bullshit, and there's always stuff. There's always stuff. Since we're playing, I don't know over there. Oh, there's a thing over here. Grabbing all your, like, bringing all of those weird response to fire on scanning and thinking and figuring out how to string it together to get to it. Buddy, I was having a goddamn blast just trying to find all of the things next to you. The level mechanics are also really neat. You got these scenes that grant you a high jump, platform, dolphins, right?
It kinda looks like I'm wearing a bridal gown.
Bounce pads that'll turn you back in the crash with strong. Dandelion loves to let you fly for a little bit. I really love these little critters that you travel to. They're always introducing fun, mighty puzzle environment. I'll look around.
Alright.
Honestly, it kind of brings a whole new meaning to the phrase puzzle platformer. I always kind of wonder if that's what was it. Well, I mean, that, and there's also this actual puzzle game element to it as well. This happens when you're studying each creature. You get to do this little mini game where you're placing down blocks, and there's tiles like multipliers and stuff, and you're trying to get
Alright, so I'm gonna go to this island. Since if I remember correctly, the guardian that you fight there has all 3 weapons. And I'd love to get my hands on those. If that turns out to not be the case, well, there's still that other place.
If you think all of this just looks like annoying crap and you don't want to do it, and you just want to platform and or enjoy the story, then hey, you can just make it easy as heck by going into the options. And yeah, you can just get through the way faster this way. You gotta love those accessibility options that allow you to control the experience you have a little bit more. I mean, hell, if you want, you can just give yourself infinity dashes or even infinity jumps and just fly through the game. Guess you can take your Game Genie and chuck it in the trash now. Apparently they just have this sort of thing the options these days. And and I am just in love with the way this game looks, too. It really feels like a natural evolution
Dang
of
it.
the visuals from Anodyne 2.
What a
The surrealism
time to
is
not
dialed
have a
back
Korok
bit,
leaf.
but you can still expect fantastical environments. All of these overworld colors, the coral growing out of the sea, and everything. I made this in the greatest way anybody possibly could. See, it's like an HD textures, the lower-ish polygon count, but most importantly, putting an honest budget makes the game creative, that we can nail up. Writing is also just amazing. Like, Marina has this incredible ability to make every random little thing just incredibly interesting, very fascinating. Even when characters are just talking about something as simple as making food, it just comes across in such a way that you really understand where the character is coming from and why they're reminiscing about these sorts of things. How many smaller working parts
Sure.
whether it's animals,
Oh god, this is one of the random Yiga locations. You know what? Why not? I'll go fight them. Break one of my weapons.
incredibly smart, well thought out, extremely fun. The story and I need to
Okay then, this is getting out of hand.
If you like interesting platforming mechanics that are a lot different platformer, like non-provoking stories are fantastic. And biopuzzles, I guess. Sesame is super amazing. Next up, we got something a little bit more traditional. If you just want to play something simple, linear, and challenging as hell. Over here, we have a Toughest Mayo's Crash Bandicoot playing all of Simo Simmel. It's Simo Sidewalk. And I'm talking Crash Bandicoot 1. No double jump, no slide, no up, just a single regular ass jump. Basic attack.
Wow, look at all these guardians that just suddenly spawned. And the towels.
Why is the train always up? We also have a racing sound. Land and animation. I'll let you know the apex of your jump. They certainly know to have all of those little things here. That back. I'm not to say we're gonna have what I'm saying though. I mean, this is not
Really?
High platforming challenge. Not going for you at all. This is the kind of thing that goes, okay, you like the hard stuff in Crash Bandicoot, you like the hard activity, yeah? Alright, here's something even harder.
Ooh, I got nature scale.
They also totally nailed the PS1 aesthetics. They got the texture wobble and everything, and combined with such art
You know, I'm gonna swim. And by swim, I mean use Crayonus. It's slow, but I should still have enough time.
Stuff like Metabots, whatever, but this guy's just a little mushroom. He's got no face, the cat's covering where his eyes would be. It's just
Never mind, this is gonna take a while.
Joke about shrooms, well, they're actually way ahead of you. Name psilocybin comes from name psilocybin, which is the naturally occurring psychedelic compound of alpha mushrooms, which of course goes hand in hand with the game's other worldly and
There's a Korok leaf.
I'm not sure if that's an intentional part of the experience, but bonus points for that detail. But hey, if you're not big on retro filters and stuff, then you still got nothing to worry about because they give you a ton of control. There's a bunch of options that allow you to tweak it into exactly the way you want. Personally, though,
Alright, need a Korok leaf.
So I left it all cranked up. I even plugged in one of those PS1 classic USB controllers for maximum effect. So right at home,
There we go.
Crash Bandicoot on old CRT. Though I sort of wish it had 4:3 ratio compatibility so I could fit it on a real CRT. I've been playing a bunch of easy stuff on this thing lately, but of course that's just a dumb B thing. It'd be silly to actually criticize the game because I can't quite tell the nostalgia thing with it. If anything, the wider screen space is totally necessary.
You know what? Fine. I'll get rid of this gear.
And you know, the filters are pretty dang good at recreating that CRT feel anyway, so it's a net gain if you can't complain. Right now, currently, as of this video, it is only available on PC. You can buy it on Steam, but there is
I am replacing it anyway, like, well...
it is an early access, but it doesn't really feel early access, right? It feels like a pretty chunky, good playing, very fun, well-controlling game. Absolutely worth 20 bones. What's up your alley? Okay, there's some chunkier ones. You know, the ones that look like full-fledged, full-length platform. But as a player, there's also been a lot of teensy tiny bite-sized platforms too. Sort of thing where it's like, yeah, you know, we're exploring cool aesthetic and stuff, but full 6 to 12 hours this, so it lacks the full thing. That it also lacks the full Story 3D was the first one of these sorts of games I played. Brady told me to check it out wherever I go. And make sure he made sure I did not look up a single thing about it first. Not sure. I know, I mean, there's absolutely nothing strange about this platformer. I would just play it, and I wouldn't worry about a thing. Maybe I'll discuss further with you someday, but I just want to put it out there for the time being. It's fun sometimes with all that excuse. What I really want to talk about today, though, just because like, let me just hit all of the little things for me. It's this N64 throwback game called Super Kiwi 64. A little Kiwi word dropped into the sewers, which I guess is the hub world here, and you already have access to every level. Alright, so let's just pick one and start exploring. Man, they really just throw you right into this game. It is pure gameplay, no talking. Tutorials, no cutscene, it's just pick up and go. So it's a pretty simple open area collectathon like Mario 64 or Banjo X or whatever. Running around the world looking for stuff, you know, like rings to jump through, buttons to smack, keys and open doors. The main collectible here, you know, with the stickies and the jars. I literally just said that in fact. We're getting these crystal hexagon pieces. I don't know what they are. Just look yourself. Since we already have access to every level,
Right, here goes.
progression or anything, the only goal is just to collect 40 of these. So it's the ending picture of the game. Why? Collect all 48. So there is exactly.
Alright, yeah, it's all weapon types. Good. Alright, I got a teleporter.
There's not really a whole lot of challenge to it, but
And
you know,
no
again,
slimes
it's
showed
about
up.
exploring a level without most freedom and just having a challenging stage to go through. And I also think that they just completely nailed N64 aesthetics here. The low resolution HUD elements, the blurry textures that unveil just enough detail for you to know what you're looking at, and the weirdly wicked and foreboding atmosphere too. Remember that creepy sensation the Shadow Temple gave you as a kid with the eerie music, dark atmosphere, and all the 2D skeletons? It's a very similar thing going on here. No scares, no jumps, no, just this nice spooky sensation of like, where the hell did I end up? You know, for no other reason than it's just a fun vibe to explore, right? You're not trying strongly recommend it if you like N64 aesthetics. It's a nice, relaxing, foreboding atmospheres and speedy collectathon exploration. Oh my god, I had so many more video games I wanted to talk about, but this video's kind of getting too long and it's starting to get too long to make too. So I'm gonna put a cork in it here for now, but I hope that I was able to have like a good variety of stuff. Hopefully I was able to show you something that tickles your fancy or whatever. Maybe play your games on PC, I'll have all the links to like itch and stupid stuff, that's maybe you'll be going these in the future. I would love to share more that short little burst throughout the jam back. I mean, after all, not only do I know of a bunch more that really do deserve attention, and shout out Castle Coast, but there's even more on the way too, and I'm gonna have to catch up with them again some. So let me know what you think, but for now, we can go back to all videos. Really, this is a big ass list of retro 3D platforms. What a really long ass requested ones too. Let's just say platformer fans should be good. Yes, sir. Hope you guys will look forward to it all. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you'll look forward to it all, and thanks for watching. YouTube video. Yo, what's good? Thank you so much for watching. I love talking about.
That's actually 100 damage per hit
And hey, if you like what I do
against Lynels. What the heck?
support help do what I'm doing. On the podcast, open up my Patreon for me. My buddy Brady. We talk
Alright, I got the max teleporters. There's just one last memory left now. I think I want to get some slot upgrades first. Why not? May as well, since we're going to that place, the castle. I'm going to try getting the Hylian shield. The highly coveted Hylian shield. I don't really need... Like, I'm happy with this. I'm thinking just going for full sword slots. Maybe I should try getting another bow slot. That might be nice, although I don't really have enough bow. I never really have enough arrows to support the amount of bows I have. And again, shields aren't that big of an issue. Yeah, I'm just gonna go for full weapon.
いつでも使えるぜ
Maybe I'll go buy some weapons from Robbie. I'll need around 600. I can fill in all the slots. I'll hopefully get another bow. While I'm inside Hyrule Castle. Am I the only one who feels this way? I don't know if I've talked about this yet, but I don't like it when you finally get your second row of hearts, but like you only have one heart on the second row, and then that one heart just looks really awkward. Like I kinda wish once you get the second row, they'd like rearrange the hearts first. It's probably just me. I have OCD. Just one of the things I experience. As a stupid petty bitch. Alright, I'll sell these. I was hoping I could make something nice with them, but sometimes that's just how things be. It'd be nice if I knew how to edit mods and stuff. I'd like to make it so that you could craft the modded weapons in crafting project or something. There should be... someone should make like a tutorial for crafting project specifically. The mod is old and most likely not really supported anymore. Which I just think is sad. Alright, yeah, I have enough teleporters. Do you have anything I wanna do?
The object of the game is to have the most
Oh, it's snowing.
lay out a random setup card and set out the chest tokens on the as the color of each piece.
Right, so what weapons should I get?
Number on each token indicates that token. Each player takes a given token, matching color set. Beginning with the oldest color, then proceeding to the bottom. Each player places their gambit on each of the start space.
Well, the spear's already plenty durable and useful as it is. I think I'll go for the short sword and blade saw. Why not? One more each would be fantastic. I could go get another ancient shield as well, if I really wanted to, but there's no pragmatic incentive for me to do such a thing. So I guess I'll go use this, this, and this. For now.
Leftmost face down card, face up, discard pile. And then face on the card, deal. Then place one card from hand, face down to fight the last face down card. Draw one card from hand, then
Let me make a save real quick.
the next player clockwise takes a turn. Draw every down cards, shuffle, discard onto the field. Play continues until the last chest token. After, then the player will post
Alright, I'll enter in my favorite spot.
closest to last turn win.
I'm only playing for 2 hours. Hopefully I have enough time.
Humans are usually really animated.
Before we begin, I want to thank Babbel for sponsoring this video. I visited Montreal for the first time last summer, and crossing the Ontario-Quebec border made me realize how much I needed to brush up on my French. Thankfully, Babbel has an in-depth course for that and multiple other languages as well.
What do you mean need?
Babbel is one
There's
of the
no
top
need for you to learn
language
any other language other than your
For myself, it's clear to see
mother
why.
tongue, pragmatically
Babbel makes
speaking.
learning a new language simple and fun. Customizable lesson plans cater towards how much time you have per day, and lessons that prepare you for practical situations and conversations.
Some countries have other languages, so I guess that means, like, take my country, the Philippines, for example, where we have English subject along with our Tagalog.
So if I'm ever in a situation where I need to ask, "Sont les toilettes?" I won't be in trouble. And if you change your mind,
Yo,
about that,
oh,
they offer 20-day money back guarantee.
Yeah.
60% off on your subscription. And let me know what language you'd like to learn and why. And I'll see both of you. Speaking of language.
Oh
Art
my.
is a universal language. It has the power to transcend barriers thanks to the many
No,
ways
no,
in
no,
which
don't
emotion,
raise your
video
spear
games in
or your
particular
bow.
have been doing this since their inception, and they continue to capture the hearts of people worldwide. They do this through a language spoken and learned by players in every game they play. The language of game design. Every game gives its players a set of languages to use, and as you become more comfortable with them, you find unique applications for them across the game. Once you become fluent in that language, you can use it as a medium to create beautiful things, even beyond the scope of the game itself. While there are plenty of great examples of this, one of my favorites has always been The
I
Legend
believe
of
there's
Zelda.
supposed to be a shrine
And while the
around
series
here.
at large is a favorite of mine, when I say The Legend of Zelda is an example of this game design language philosophy, I am actually referring to the original from 40 years ago. This was from before any established
Might as well use up all the champion powers I have.
that games have seldom been and it remains learning to speak Zelda's language is so satisfying precisely because of how secret it is. This game project, adventure, to this game to provide its its investigate its family, first natural wonders of the past, and finally everything you learn to build your test as you discover the hidden entrance of Death Mountain, honor the final legend.
I think that line was after me.
And it's possible to discover things that seem everywhere. In the modern day, the original
arrow
Zelda
just
game is a
flew.
fascinating relic of a bygone
Oops.
era.
Nice
An era
diamonds.
that I was not a part of. I was born after the 1980s, and well into the 1990s after the internet was being widely accessible. When I was growing up, anything I needed to know about a game was merely a web search away. I didn't need to subscribe to Nintendo Power or purchase strategy guides and G-code books, although I still did those things anyway. With this in mind, it feels like the design of the original Legend
Mood,
of Zelda
I
is on
relate.
its way to becoming obsolete. A forgotten language. A dead tongue. If you choose
Well,
to
I
follow
just
an
steal online
walkthrough,
PDFs,
the original
just-
sense of mystery and the nature of its puzzle solving is lost. If you choose not to use any resources and just go in guns
Oh
blazing,
yeah, oh
it
yeah,
may
oh
seem
yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
inaccessible
oh yeah,
for
oh yeah,
some.
oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah,
That's
oh yeah.
precisely why I find myself in love with it. Deciphering the original Legend of Zelda remains a distinct and fulfilling experience, and few games have been able to evoke similar feelings of satisfaction, even within the Zelda series itself. I've always wanted to break down what exactly makes
Ow.
it special, even if I am outside of
Okay.
the shrine.
I don't care anymore if there is indeed a shrine here. I can't freaking find the entrance to it. It's raining anyway. I remember you need to burn a thingy to get access to it.
I'm Game Triforce, and this is a video about the engagement design of the original Legend of Zelda that I've come to love.
Well, if you're a game that piques your interest, then this one should be for you.
Fuck off, Arc Knight.
That I've come to love. first attempted to play the original Legend of Zelda, I was around 7 or 8 years old.
Yo, is that a
It was on
giant
my
engine
mother's
core?
old
Nope.
Nintendo Entertainment System, and all I had was the cartridge. By that point, there were plenty of online resources for me to look into, but I chose to sit all by myself and play. I managed to find and complete the first dungeon without any help, after dying several times, of course, but I kept getting lost amidst the scrolling screens of Hyrule and fighting the dust yet again. Compared to the Zelda games I was used to back then, the unforgiving nature of combat, the sprawling, open-ended structure of the overworld, and the lack of any in-game explanation was enough to drive me away. For a long time, I perceived the original Zelda as a game that I would never be able to get into. But there were two things that kept me intrigued. While I did mention the structure of the overworld feeling alien to me,
リーバルトルネ
I
ード
later
いつ
realized
でも
that it
OK だ
was also unlike anything else in the Zelda series at that point. Sure, the dungeons had a recommended order, and certain items were required in order to enter and clear subsequent dungeons. But armed with prior knowledge of the game, you could grab whatever items you needed before storming Death Mountain right away and bringing the fight to Ganon. The other thing to pique my interest was a conversation I had with a family member about the game. I mentioned that I had no idea what I was doing, and he told me that he was able to beat the game in the late 1980s, but it took him months to solve everything on his own. He didn't have magazines or guides to help him out. He did have two crucial things. The first was a group of friends that were also playing through the game at the same time, who shared their findings with him. The original Zelda may have been a single-player game, but due to its confusing and secretive nature, sharing secrets with friends and discussing the game was part of the journey. This ended up ringing true a short while later when I discussed the Wind Waker with my friend, and we both exchanged notes on how to solve certain mysteries like Triforce Chart Quest, or finding Cyclos and learning the Ballad of Gales. More on that in my Wind Waker. Video games are inherently more enjoyable when you can talk about them with others. Even in the age of the internet, especially in the age of the internet, you can always learn of new strategies and unique experiences and perspectives. That is true in particular for non-linear games like the original Zelda.
This theme is
The
super
second thing
badass.
we have is the instruction manual. At the time, this baffled me. While I enjoyed flipping through the instruction manuals of games I owned at the time, it was mostly just to examine the artwork and flavor text, as they'd otherwise contain information related to tutorials of the game itself. This wasn't always the case, but instruction manuals were largely on their way out when I was growing up. In the 80s, instruction manuals were often required for players to fully understand certain games. While this may
Why?
be more true for certain ambitious and complicated Atari and television and ColecoVision games, it was still true for certain Nintendo games as well. Even Super Mario Bros., which features some of the most famous teaching tools embedded into its design, still has useful tips in its manual not explicitly taught by the game. The Legend of Zelda in particular requires players to read the manual. There are explanations of items which are required to understand what some of them do and how you can apply them, and there are maps, guides, and numerous hints that are crucial to unlocking the secrets of Hyrule. Most people playing the game today that grew up in an age beyond the instruction manual wouldn't know. Although this game has been re-released countless times, new players would have to seek out the supplementary material that used to be included with the game themselves, as it is either omitted from those re-releases or is tucked away as an obscure option. The manual was your study guide, and the game was your open book exam. Years later, I picked the game back up. Armed with a sense of open-mindedness thanks to knowledge I'd accrued over the course of several years, as well as the instruction manual and map, which you can now view on Nintendo's website, I was finally ready to give the game another shot. It was relentless. It was unforgiving. It was an adventure. Here's how I learned to speak Zelda's language. When you name your character and begin your adventure, you're greeted with this first screen. 3 directions to choose from, and a cave in the top left corner. The cave practically beckons to the player, and that's how you obtain the sword. One of the most famous moments in the entire series, and it's also where any sense of direction fizzles out. If you don't have the manual, your next task is to find something, anything at all that could point you in the right direction. If you head west, you'll find caves with shops and hints that feel nebulous without any gameplay context to apply them to, as well as a forest full of moblins that will tear you apart. If you head north, you'll probably find the bridge to the first dungeon, which is what I did. East, there are so many more paths for you to take, but it is possible to find the second dungeon on your own. should you survive the enemies that roam on each screen. If you're having trouble deciding where to go, the manual actually has a guide on how to reach the first dungeon.
I believe that makes it
42,
two
as well as
parts of
tips
the
on what to
fandoms
do
that I
once
have
you're in
now.
the dungeon
Why
throughout
not?
the menu. Thankfully, The Legend of Zelda's first dungeon is fantastic at introducing players to the flow of each dungeon. As soon as you enter, you have a locked door and 2 accessible rooms. Both rooms contain keys, so no matter which you choose, you can
Wait, the rain stopped?
At the next floor, you can kill all of the Stalfoses for another key, head right to the King Compass, and head left to proceed onward. The rest of the dungeon is pretty straightforward from here. After grabbing the map, it becomes apparent that you have 2 paths. Either proceed toward the red dot on
Right, so
your
the
radar,
memory's
or
over
you can
there.
head north to look for other enemies.
I want
As
the
soon as you
Hylian
kill the
shield
boss,
first and
you
foremost,
grab the heart
obviously.
container and a fragment of
Who
the
wouldn't?
Triforce in
The best part is, since I'm in the late game now, there is value in getting the Hylian shield later.
Expansive layouts and multiple branching pathways to
It's
take,
so that you can
and
get it
enemies become
modded.
more challenging to deal with as well.
The shield
Dark
guard
guns
up
can only be hit from
is
back
basically
and
worthless.
damage.
You'll really only want that if you want to flex that you have a shield that has 100 defense.
Also appear to make your journey through each labyrinth a daunting.
Durability up is
It
just
doesn't necessarily help that
way more
combat
valuable.
in Zelda is in the 4 directions of which you There's no horizontal slashes like the future Zelda games. It's all about jutting your sword out in front of you at the right time. While I greatly prefer the combat of Link to the Past and Beyond, there is an inherent satisfaction to landing killing blows in the original Zelda that future games in the series lack. The sword beam does give you a fair bit of leniency as it allows you to avoid close quarters combat, but even if you're not at full health, positioning yourself just right to dodge enemies and finish them off with a well-timed sword thrust is a uniquely satisfying feeling. That and clever use of your items can also clear out enemies quicker, like stunning those that can be stunned, or clearing out hordes of dark nuts with a well-placed bomb. Compared to the dungeons of future Zelda games, the original Zelda's dungeons are distinct with their heavy focus on combat and navigation over puzzle-solving uses of items. And although the overworld and dungeons have their differences in terms of structure and gameplay, the skills and thinking you develop in dungeons is transferable to the overworld.
I always take this route. I've memorized this route, and if I really just want the Hylian shield, which most of the time I do, I like the Hyrule Castle, but it's a pain in the ass to explore. It is one of the most brutal places in all of Hyrule Kingdom. It makes sense and I love it for that, but at the same time, man, it can be such a pain to explore. It's actually basically straight up the biggest hindrance as to why I still haven't gotten around to 100%ing this game. I just don't want to deal with Hyrule castles. All of its bullshittery.
I was able to navigate the overworld uncontested, at least until I ended up in the outskirts fighting Lynels or getting chased by Armo statues. But they still serve as a test for exploring that far out. Every dungeon is stronger than the tangible reward of one knowledge of the game's items expanding further, and your own game sets developing as you confront each type of enemy. Navigation is also a unique skill to learn in individual Zelda's dungeons. As the dungeons grow larger, it can become easy to get lost. The original Zelda came with a pulled-out map full of tips and strategies, and it actually encourages players to make their own maps as they progress further into the game. It includes maps of the first 2 dungeons as examples, but from there it becomes crucial to keep track of where you've been. In later dungeons, especially Death Mountain, it is entirely possible.
There's
that
no
you may not
reason
come
for me
across
to-
a
oh,
full map
shit.
on the map container.
Yo!
It's also
Yo!
important to try to examine every single room in the dungeon.
These are Malus enemies.
Items to obtain in each dungeon, with some being vital to progression. Page 34 tells you that you must get the other treasures
Give
in
me a
labyrinths
bow.
if you want to have any hope of getting to them. I've always
Aww.
admired the diligence it takes to master each dungeon. And there's
Yeah,
more
that's
to
right,
it than just
autosave
tracing
after
paths
that.
and exhausting
I
them.
have 2 scimitars of the
While a
Shadow.
typical Zelda game may have a finite set of keys only
Okay.
useful in their respective dungeons, as well as a clear indication of how certain rooms connect, this game's keys are transferable between each dungeon. There are ways to avoid using keys in certain situations, and specific rooms that you may spot on the dungeon map can only be accessed through means beyond doors. You have to become adept at reading between the lines in each dungeon. There's a hint on page 33 that reads, inside of the labyrinth is made up of blocks of rooms. Each of the blocks in the labyrinth are rooms closed by 1. Blocks that will go through whenever he wants. 2. Show shutters with doors and devices that won't open unless he's got the key. Number 3, walls.
Let's
There are rooms
dance.
behind walls. Well, what am I supposed to do about walls? And in the section elaborating on dungeons that says, pay attention to things you can't get to. There are hidden passages that are already passed through. So that's two habits of themselves. But there are other things in the video worth noting. I'll discuss this here. Saying things like, games are not only the places you can see, and legend has it, games every possible place on the ground. Link is bound to find it, as long as he has it on the map. On the back of the map that comes with the game, you'll find the answer you seek.
Oh, what if it's randomized?
This opens up so many more possibilities for
I didn't
secret entrances
think of that.
dungeons, especially as you take notice of other hints on the fold-out map, like the fact that you can burn trees to find things, or how you can find a certain item to push giant boulders. The notion that you need to blow a hole in every wall and burn every bush in order to figure out how to beat this game is inaccurate. There can only be one entrance to any cave or dungeon per screen, and most secret caves are entirely optional discoveries. Some secrets are hinted at on the fold-out map with these question marks they placed on each screen. For example, this heart container can be found if you bomb the rock on
Okay,
the
it's
screen,
shield.
as denoted by the question mark. Of the 5 optional heart containers,
Hell yeah, it's not modded though.
only one of them is hidden in what I would consider an obscure manner.
Wow,
You have to burn
it
this
is
specific
way
bush
more
and the entire row
durable.
of bushes. And for a permanent health upgrade in such a difficult game, this is a bit much, but the rest are fine. 2 of them require standard use of your items, and another can be found by bombing a hole in this wall. Through experience, you'll learn that caves can only be hidden on flat ground walls, and they can only be entered from walking north.
Alright, I have the 3 shields I'll have the I have all the shields I'll ever need in my entire life now.
As there are many bushes in the open world that could potentially have caves. But as for the required ones, you only have to burn a single one.
Is there a point in me trying to murder these guys? They just seem really powerful.
It's placed in such a way that it is the only thing.
Maybe one day I'll try fighting them, but for now I'll do my utmost to just avoid
You'll
them.
find the entrance. On top of that, you can learn that you need to burn a bush by reading about it on the back of the fold-out map. And you can learn that an old man in a cave by the ocean will hint at the dungeon's location. Like I said, I was not a part of this game's heyday, but based on my experiences with future Zelda games directly inspired by the spirit of this one, I am willing to believe that sharing secrets with your friends was part of the experience. I mean, trying to find all of the hidden caves on your own is a daunting task, but with multiple trying the game out and taking different paths, you're more likely to discover things as a group. In fact, Shigeru Miyamoto stated that in the development, this was his intention. This is a beautiful trait that has persisted throughout the Zelda series. The speedrunning community, and the trademark amount of detail in the Zelda series driving discussion for years and years. But never has it been so crucial to a Zelda game's design since the original. Going back to the instruction manual once more, I want to emphasize that Zelda's teaching tools are not exclusively tied to it. While it is a fantastic resource to look through and a core part of the experience, the practical learning that takes place in dungeons makes it apparent that this game still has a lot to offer beyond that book. Although the seeds of secret seeking are planted with bombs, bush burning, and whatnot, there are many more moments where the game will lead you to your own devices to discover things. In nearly every dungeon is a secret old person that will give you a hint or offer an upgrade to your bomb capacity. Sometimes they can be behind locked or closed doors. Other times you have to find the bite bomb in the walls. They don't just tell you about a boss's weakness though. Sometimes they can be referring to secrets in the overworld, like the white sword in a cave above the waterfall. Nothing but a vague hint to go off of. Finding the white sword was one of the most exciting moments of my initial playthrough, as I just kind of stumbled upon it and to contain it. East Coast Peninsula is the secret is probably one of my least favorite instances of mistranslation in the game, and it doesn't even match the Japanese text in the slightest, but it does point toward the money-making game in the northeast part of Hyrule, as well as someone in the cave that will give you a piece of country. There's an old woman in a cave near the first screen of the game that won't say anything when you enter. If you remember her and show her the parchment, you'll be rewarded with the ability to purchase blue and red potions off of her for rewarded prices. Red potions are essentially essentially like buying 2 blue potions, as you can restore your health twice, and the old woman is offering them for the price of a blue potion and a half. As you can imagine, I bought potions here right up to the end of the game. Remember how I mentioned that item?
I'd like to go underground as well, which is accessible by the library, because there's a shrine there, and not only is that, you know, a shrine, it's also going to be super convenient to have.
Which cuts the damage I take in half. Of course, upon learning that Armo statues could be hiding things underneath, I went around pushing all of the Armo statues that I could, as well as making sure not to die when they came running after me. There aren't very many of them throughout the overworld, and eventually, look at that! I found the power bracelet, which allows me to access shortcuts and travel more easily around Hyrule. Sometimes scanning the manual and putting the pieces together is its own work. The entrance to Dungeon 7 has multiple clues to its whereabouts scattered throughout the game and its supplementary material. In Dungeon 6, you can find an old man that says, "There are secrets where fairies don't." Page 25 of the manual talks about what the whistle is capable of. The fountain next to the fairy fountain contains a moblin. The back of the map says the dungeon is located there, and it's up to you to connect the dots. What a satisfying revelation it was to figure this out on 2. There are much more examples of things that I discovered just from what I've learned about the game.
Wait, hold on, can I take a picture of that?
Go beyond the manual
Oh,
require
it's just
you
the golden guy.
like finding the hints in order to navigate the obstacles, or finding out
But
how to
they're
open
purple
these shutter
instead.
doors and access the underground caves and dungeons
Wacky.
by learning how to push blocks from the back of the map.
Yo, wow, durability up. Sure is durability up.
If you've been able to explore
This bow is absolutely wicked. What the? Frickety frick frick?
Manual when necessary. You've already learned how to speak Zelda's language. And what a beautiful language.
Oh,
it is.
sure, you can't
There
critical
are
shot
some
them.
brilliant puzzles throughout the Zelda series, but I still think this game's hands-off, resource-driven approach to conveying puzzle solutions is one of the most admirable I've ever seen in a video game. And it is a rare breed even today to see puzzles demand such outside-of-the-box thinking and ingenuity from the player in action-adventure games. It provides such a raw, profound sense of accomplishment to figure these things out on your own, and those aha
Wow,
moments
okay.
are the foundation on which Zelda is built upon. Now, even with everything I've said, I understand that this game isn't going to be for everyone. Getting rupees takes a long, long time, and you need to make a number of expensive purchases to stand a chance in the later stages of the game. And although the combat is rewarding, it's also wildly frustrating at times. While the game does incrementally prepare you for its tougher assortments of enemies, oftentimes they will get a bit carried away with the amount of dark nuts on screen, or certain combinations of enemies. Some things are also a bit too wacky to figure out. When it comes to finding the magical sword, the
Don't forget the mistranslation.
pretty straightforward.
Someone should make a mod that
Grave is
retranslates the
located
game
hundreds of
honestly.
years into the story, as you will have to check every grave and release a ton of guinea
Okay,
before
so
you can find
it's
correct.
the Royal Guard
This
bow is
essentially
very
what those that
slow.
don't like this game
It's
think the
super
entire
fast in
game
the
is,
original.
compressed into one area.
So that
There
kind
are
of
also
sucks.
instances where mistranslation can impede a player's progress. I've already mentioned Peninsula. It's somewhat vague, but there's an instance where a crucial hint is omitted from the English. In Dungeon 8, the old man says, "Electrical walk is an interesting depth," which is yet another vague hint, this time toward the location of the final dungeon. In the Japanese version, however, it says something along the lines of, "Look for the arrows in Death Mountain." Thank you to Legends of Localization for the translation. The silver arrows found in Death Mountain are the only way to kill Ganon, so it's kind of an essential hint. In Dungeon 5, an old man says, "Secret power is said to be in the arrow," but you'd be forgiven if that didn't come to mind when you were exploring Death Mountain, because why would it? Anyway, with all of this talk about Death Mountain, I think it's time we discuss how this game wraps up. With all of this knowledge in our heads, all that's left to do is prove our mastery over the game. The road to Ganon is a long one, and before you can even set foot on that road, you have to find it first. Based on the hint given to me, I look for a rock I can bomb, and enter the dungeon. Death Mountain is a sprawling, confusing labyrinth of secret rooms, locked doors that lead to dead ends, and some of the most brutal confrontations with enemies in the game. Although the preceding dungeons were building up to this, Death Mountain's colossal amount of rooms and underground paths that lead to other parts of the dungeon make it especially difficult to solve. You are basically required to create a detailed map if you want to have any hope of making it to Ganon on your own. The act of doing this made navigating the dungeon not just more manageable, but also much more fun. I've been doing this to complete the previous dungeons as well when they get a bit too confusing. The Death Mountain becoming something of a cartography project brought me joy in a manner unique to video games even today. Magical Key can also make this dungeon a lot easier to explore, as you won't have to worry about wasting your keys on dead-end rooms. Oh, and you also need to ensure that you obtain the Silver Arrow, and thankfully you can grab the Red Ring here as well to increase your defense yet again. But if you've gotten
Alright,
this
time to go
far,
underground.
you should be able to make it through. Fighting
don't think
Ganon
I have
in and
enough
of itself
time.
is a puzzle to solve. Ganon will turn invisible and shoot at you, and in order to deal damage, you need to follow his trail of fireballs and swing your sword where you think he'll appear next. When you hit him, he'll appear for a brief moment. Once he changes color, that's when you're supposed to shoot him with the Silver Arrow. He'll disintegrate into ash, leaving behind the Triforce of Power. With this, as well as yours and Zelda's pieces, Triforce has been restored, bringing peace to Hyrule. I think the original Legend of Zelda is an experience that is challenging to appreciate today, but it can be done. It has its hiccups, but I believe everything is in place for you to solve the original game, as it was originally intended to be solved. And when you do play the game by its rules, I think it is one of the most rewarding, distinct, and genuinely refreshing experiences I've ever had with a video game. I may enjoy A Link to the Past's combat and refined structure far more, but I admire the original Zelda's spirit against the rest of the Zelda series, and especially video games at large. Now that you've finished the game, what does becoming a master of Zelda's language mean? I mean, once you've solved everything, isn't at least
okay.
some of the wonder
I thought the game
that
crashed.
missing?
I was about
Well,
ready to just
not
give up.
necessarily. Another beautiful thing about this
Alright,
game's
this
world
is a
how
sign.
open-ended it can be. You bring your knowledge in from the
I
previous
will
playthrough.
save though.
You can grab the magical key fairly early as long as you know where Dungeon Meat is, and you can bring a few items and heart containers with you. With this, you no longer have to worry about running out of
I
keys.
seriously
You can enter
forgot
pretty much
where the
any dungeon
library
in the
is.
game at any point, aside from the ones that require items from these dungeons, so long as you complete all of them eventually.
It's below me?
This means that you can grab specific items early and apply them to earlier situations, like the magic wand, the awesome replacement for the sword beam that you can wield without being in full health. Of course, this wouldn't matter as much if the core gameplay wasn't compelling. Thankfully it is. With this non-linear approach to the game, you can also attempt a challenge run, like completing the game without a sword, using nothing but your items to kill enemies. Or you can do a 3-heart run if you hate yourself. The original Zelda also offers the famous second quest for those wanting to relive the secret seeking of their first playthrough. The second quest shuffles the locations of dungeon entrances, shops, caves, and completely changes the layouts of each dungeon.
Wow.
I'm still working my way through the second quest, attempting to unravel the game yet again. I'm taking my time, and maybe one day I'll finish it. Because I don't believe the original Zelda was something that you would sit down and solve in one sitting. It was something that you would gradually untangle. It was an adventure. Let's jump ahead to the modern day. I don't necessarily think the original Zelda needs a difficulty selector incessant hand-holding, as that would betray its intent. What I do want is a game that respectfully adapts its spirit for a modern audience.
Wow.
It follows a little fox adventurer on his journey through an ethereal, fantastical world ravaged by ancient technology. The gameplay itself is a mixture of elements from Zelda and especially Dark Souls, but that is just a blanket statement that does a grand disservice to what the game does in its own. As you explore the overworld and follow the breadcrumb trail toward each objective, you'll pick up pieces of an instruction manual to read. Although a lot of the language it uses seems impossible to understand, the few words you can read, as well as the gorgeous illustrations it includes, can both help by providing gameplay tutorials, crucial hints, and maps in the area. Sound familiar? Indeed, developer Andrew Schultes has taken clear inspiration from a certain classic triangle-seeking game. The manual is meticulously detailed and filled to the brim with things you can use to figure out where to go, as well as strategies to confront enemies and bosses, much like the original Zelda's manual. The game is also filled with secrets, hidden thanks to its
Wow, they can
and
actually
the
play
items
ragdoll me,
contained
huh?
in each dungeon. And this breathes more life and depth into the enemies you explore, as is to be expected from a game directly
inspired by Zelda. The dungeons themselves are modeled more so after the areas in Dark Souls than they are something like a Task, which lend themselves well to the combat-centric focus of Tunic's gameplay. But don't worry, the secret seeking is there, and it is beyond incredible. After reaching both bell towers and clearing the fortress of the Eastern Vault to obtain the Red Key, your next step might not be entirely clear. There's an area that might seem just out of reach, but if you pay close attention to your map when looking for your next path, you'll spot a ladder down by the beach that will take you straight to the ruined atoll. Nearby, you can find a page for the manual on the shores beneath the bridge, and it contains a hint that leads to a big revelation as well. Although it contains a map of the exterior of the Eastern Vault, it also has a little blurb at the bottom depicting both those gold platforms you'll have likely seen throughout the game, and those statues dedicated to fallen heroes of ages past. It asks you to refer to page 24, which can be found after activating both bell towers. And what's on page 24? The hint that informs you of how to activate those obelisks, which restores power to various parts of the map, and are crucial to progression. If you try holding A on these golden platforms when they are powered by an obelisk, you'll be taken to another realm, and you'll be able to fast travel between each platform that you power. Later, finding and able to perform those statues by holding A also becomes crucial in solving the enemy quest. These are but a couple of examples of how remarkably Tunic is able to resurrect the spirit of the original Zelda. It never makes your path clear or too confusing, and allows you to develop yourself. Even if you're not going the right way, you can still find things by chance on the quest for your next objective, and get stronger through upgrades to your stats, shards for another health class, and money. But most importantly, it has satisfying revelations about the world of Tunic and its puzzle solving to the manual pages of fun. But it goes much, much deeper. At some point while exploring the open world, you'll likely find a path up the mountain and stumble across this giant door. The right of this door is actually a shortcut that leads down to the quarry, so it's a great way to link two disconnected areas together. That door remains a grand mystery for a long while. Now, before I go any further, I want to warn you that I will discuss major design spoilers for Tunic from here. I've only touched upon the few that I felt comfortable sharing, and even those I didn't really tell you about, but I wanted to pique your interest in a game I love. You can skip to this point in the video to avoid further spoilers. The revelations you're supposed to have from here provide the emotional crux of this entire video, but I still wouldn't want to spoil that journey for you, if you have any interest in Tunic at all. Okay.
Well, I am recording this video, and I will admit I am kind of interested. I'll go watch another one of his videos instead. He's great.
I hope you all enjoyed what we're doing this morning. E3 2000. Nintendo's conference is coming to. Members of the press witnessed Reggie Fils-Aime's first public appearance as the face of Nintendo of America. He revealed the Nintendo DS, while Satoru Iwata hinted at Nintendo's next home console, the Revolution. And with trailers for Metroid Prime 2 and Resident Evil 4, the show had plenty for people to get excited about. But they had one last surprise planned for the show.
Worthless.
The lights dimmed, and a piece from the 1982 film Conan the Barbarian plays over a trailer for a new game. For the time, its graphics seemed impressive, but mild interest would turn to excitement as the entire Kodak theater erupted into cheers. Mirroring the classic Ocarina of Time commercial from 1998, complete with a similar editing style and the same accompanying music, Nintendo revealed the next Legend of Zelda game to be in the same vein as the one that everybody remembers. And to cap everything off, Shigeru Miyamoto stepped out after the trailer concluded, equipped with the Master Sword Hylian Shield. It lives on as one of E3's most memorable moments, but the game's reveal and the reactions of those present shed light on the bigger picture. Nintendo's previous Zelda game, The Wind Waker, was bolder and more emotionally resonant than general audiences in the West gave it credit for at the time, and its art style was emblematic of its thesis. Contemporary critics loved it, and while it certainly had its issues, its reputation has only improved with time. Unfortunately, Nintendo didn't have time on their side during the GameCube era, and they wouldn't be able to witness the true impact left by Wind Waker until much later. The GameCube's sales were disappointing, and even if they had no immediate effect on Wind Waker upon release, the game's sales would have still been well below Ocarina of Time anyway, due to the art direction's lukewarm reception in the West. Simply put, the loudest voices at the time belonged to those that wanted something closer to what they remembered. As a result, Eiji Aonuma was forced to put aside his idea of a direct sequel to Wind Waker in favor of something that would win over international audiences. With the successor to the GameCube on the horizon, and millions of nostalgic fans looking Nintendo's way, Aonuma and his team were faced with a responsibility unlike any other. If they were to promise a game that follows closely in Ocarina of Time's footsteps, they damn well better deliver. Now, they could have just attempted to make a better version of Ocarina of Time, but that wouldn't have been enough. And conceding to the idea that they couldn't beat their previous work might have come off as a sign of weakness. And in times of weakness, it's human nature to crave power. Ocarina of Time holds a lot of power in the medium of video games, and simply trying to replicate it over and over again would render their work on the Zelda series hollow. That's why I'm glad they didn't let that power go to their heads. After all, a sword wields no strength unless the hand that holds it has courage, and the people behind Zelda have proven time and time again that they are more than worthy of wielding the proverbial blade. With that said, the consensus on Twilight Princess has been anything but consistent over the past 15 years. I've heard several positive and negative viewpoints on the game, with even a close friend of mine feeling as though this game crumbled under the pressure of trying to live up to Ocarina of Time. Only recently have I seen people organize their thoughts in defense of the game, a telltale sign that it had received a substantial amount of criticism for one reason or another. I've been following Zelda for about as long as I can remember. When this game came out, I thought it was awesome, and that sentiment stayed with me across my subsequent playthroughs. Was I missing something? In order to come to my own conclusion, I wanted to figure out where this game's identity truly lies. Zelda has a particularly malleable formula. The basic conventions established in Link to the Past afforded the team great freedom to experiment, and I don't think the series can move forward without that experimentation. Majora's Mask and Wind Waker were two incredibly fruitful experiments, at least to me. Majora's Mask used its central 3-day cycle mechanic to encourage people to seek out side quests and get stronger. Wind Waker used the Great Sea to encourage exploration and powering up at your own pace, with the game being about the journey rather than the destination. Both games offered a similar degree of freedom in very different contexts. Twilight Princess is also focused on the journey, but from the opposite perspective. It's linear, and it wants you to experience things in a very specific way. As such, I've seen plenty of complaints over the years directed at the game's pacing, lack of freedom, and its adherence to the elements that made Ocarina of Time special, not allowing it to have a voice of its own, among other things. But I believe the team is, and always has been, responsible. As a result, I also believe the game is the way it is by choice, for better or worse. In many ways, The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess is a game about responsibility. Taking responsibility with power, for your friends, your family, your world, and your own mistakes. They incorporated these philosophies into both game design and narrative, and created something that survives as a powerful and memorable standalone Zelda game. In this video, I'll be going over how I believe this game establishes its identity, how the developers handled the game responsibly, and how the game conveys its message about responsibility through its characters and its world. My goal is to inspire some newfound appreciation for this game if possible. Not because I think the game is perfect, but because I think it's important. I'm Liam Triforce, and this is a video about The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess.
Some good food right there.
Originally, I was going to begin this video with a glowing analysis of Ordon Village, and how it foreshadows the themes that the game would go on to address. I'd bridge into the mystery of Hyrule Castle, the happenings in Faron Woods, etc. An all-encompassing breakdown of the importance of Twilight Princess's notion. And then I scrapped it. Truth be told, it felt disingenuous to positively assess an introduction that I don't really like. I still have positive feelings toward the introduction, and we'll talk about those feelings in time. But it would be unfair to brush aside the issues that plague one of the most important aspects of a video game, the first impression. First impressions are incredibly important. If I can't get into a game after a certain period of time with it, it's unlikely that I'll feel inclined to continue. I think that's a fair stance to take. My time on this planet is limited. Cherish it. Very few games have pushed me beyond that barrier of entry, at the prospect of furthering my enjoyment. A previous Zelda game, Majora's Mask, was one of those games. Out of a desire to experience the emotional depth and utter genius it had to offer, I committed to a full playthrough in spite of how unwelcome its first moments are. Eventually, I discovered that the information seeking you need to do in order to restore your original form is applicable to everything you do in the game. Whether you're trying to solve the mystery of Snowhead or fill out your bomber's notebook by helping with the problems, the more you put into Majora's Mask, the more you get out of it. Twilight Princess's introduction isn't confusing or abrasive or anything like that. It's just boring, and whether or not you come to enjoy the game is contingent on your willingness to slog through it and get to the good stuff. Therefore, in order to understand how I came to appreciate Twilight Princess, we must first look at how I came to value its terrible first act. It's no secret that the game begins slowly. Actually, that might be an understatement. I've played through this game over half a dozen times. On my latest playthrough, it took me about 3 hours to finally set foot in Hyrule Field, and I have no doubt that it'll likely take even longer for first-time players. When you step back and examine what happens in this time frame, it might seem like a lot. Faron Village, Hyrule Castle, Tears of Light, Forest Temple, these are all relatively beefy portions of the game from a broad glance, but they all take place in Faron Woods, with the obvious exception of Hyrule Castle. And with the exception of the Forest Temple, all of these sequences either focus on tutorials, or otherwise have you navigate through areas you've already visited. Faron Village, for example, may be structured like the Kokiri Forest in Ocarina of Time, but the context for its events are much different, and the tasks you carry out are dull, to put it lightly. Both have you collecting a certain amount of rupees before you proceed, which introduces ways to make money, and plants the first seeds of problem-solving in your mind. However, whereas Ocarina of Time had you fetch a sword and buy a shield so that you can enter the Deku Tree and prove your worth, Twilight Princess has you running errands for people around the village, with each task connecting to the next, until you can finally purchase the Slingshot. Stuff like fetching a cradle for Russell's pregnant wife, catching a fish for Sarah's cat so that you can get it to return home, and goat herding. A lot of goat herding. I think it works the first time as you can become acclimated with the way your horse controls, but they have you do it again before leaving the village, and once more on a time limit for a piece of art. It's not exactly the most exciting task to repeat. The segment after Ordon Village is a little better. The game has you searching for Tallow after he runs off on his own into the woods. This portion is more representative of what the game eventually becomes, with linear progression through new areas and occasional exploration of suspicious areas with your equipped parcel. Even this early on, your curiosity can lead you to a piece of art. It's a pretty great tutorial because Twilight Princess rarely strays from its path in terms of pacing. It primarily focuses on linear progression from dungeon to dungeon, and rarely do side quests and additional content attempt to pull you away from it. Also, 2 art pieces can be found in each dungeon, so it becomes evident early on what the designers wanted to do in this game. We'll talk more about that as it becomes relevant. As decent as this part is, the game is still taking a while to build its momentum properly. By this point in my playthrough of Ocarina of Time, I'd be well into Hyrule looking for Princess Zelda, and in Wind Waker there's a chance I'd be on my way to clearing the Forsaken Fortress. Twilight Princess, however, turns you into a wolf here, and has you escaping the dungeon of Hyrule Castle. This part is good for helping you become acclimated to Wolf-Link's abilities, as this form offers an entirely new paradigm for exploring the world and solving puzzles. But the biggest problem is that the game has so much of its runtime thus far teaching the player about stuff. Even after you return to Faron Woods, you'll need to fetch a sword and shield from the village, and then run around areas you've already seen, collecting Tears of Light. When you finally fill the vessel and return to your true self again, you'll still have to navigate the same areas one more time, with the deeper woods filled with a thick poisonous fog that you must slowly navigate.
I like the new Royal Guard weapon designs.
This nonsense. Save file to the moment I entered the dungeon. About 2 hours, and I've played this game several times. Compare the same 2 hour time frame to, say, Ocarina of Time and Wind Waker. I'd already completed the second dungeon of each game at one time. Wind Waker in particular has plenty of side content for you to familiarize yourself with. Well, Island, Coffin Isle, and a couple of the accessible side quests on Dragon Roost Island. Even after you clear the Forest Temple, the elements that plague the game's first 2 hours still linger in the lead up to the next 2 dungeons, primarily when you have to collect Tears of Light. Regardless of the impact it has on exploring those new areas, you're still performing the same task 3 times over. The repetition and slow pace of this game persists for quite a while, with the
Oh yeah, I
second
need to
dungeon,
cook those
Goron
fairies, don't I?
Mines, being a particularly
I
egregious
meant to
example.
cook them.
Magnetizing yourself to surfaces using the iron boots is a really cool new idea for an old Zelda item, but in practice this just results in very slow gameplay. You have to slowly navigate across these magnetic surfaces in order to reach new areas, and both heart pieces involve this in some way. The part where you're walking on the ceiling is cool to look at, but it is unbearably monotonous to navigate, especially if you take a detour for a heart piece. From my own experience, and from discussing this game with people that don't really like it, all of these things I've mentioned are the elements I commonly associate with eroding a player's interest in the game. And in retrospect, I'm astonished that the same didn't happen to me. Coming off of Wind Waker, a game that thrived on being an open-ended sandbox, I should have hated this game. And yet, I didn't. In fact, I embraced pretty much everything about this game, and had tons of fun with it when all was said and done. Like I said, I almost began this video
Yeah,
with a
I
little
had
overview of
had
this game's
fun with
introduction,
it too
despite
when I
everything
first
that went wrong.
played.
And
I
that
was
is
still
because
young
I
and
believe
didn't
its
know
first
much about
hours
games, so I
convey
didn't mind the
exactly what
hand
the
holding
game's
and the
going
long ass
And it
tutorial.
establishes a lot of what people love about this game. Even when
But
that
then
may
when
not
I
seem
finished
like
the game, I
case.
felt like
That
replaying it
leaves us with the
immediately.
question of what
And
exactly
that was
is
when the
this
problem
game going for?
arose.
Let's rewind back to Ordon Village, because one of the first clues as to what this game is trying to convey can be seen in our protagonist. This incarnation of Link is very special to me because I believe he is uniquely responsible. When previous incarnations of Link got their start, they were depicted as lazy and unwilling. However, something important to them takes them on a journey of epic proportions, and their worldview begins to evolve as they embark on adventures, grow up, and defeat Ganon. Their responsibilities are larger than life and gradually build as their adventure continues. On the other hand,
Weird,
Link
I've
in this
never had
game
the
already
game
has
freeze on
plenty
me
of
with a loading
responsibilities
screen.
to him, and he seems content with attending
Bar,
to, no matter
I'm
how
being
menial
there.
the tasks may seem. When Tallow runs off into the woods and gets kidnapped, Link runs after him in spite of the danger of doing so. He cares
Is
a
it
lot
gonna
about
stop?
the people in his
Is the
life,
game gonna
so
crash?
much so that he's willing to
Or
do
am I
anything
just
for them.
soft-locked?
He asks for nothing in return. Whether that means herding goats for them for the umpteenth time or saving them from monsters in the woods, he'll do it. He's selfless, brave, and responsible. 3 qualities you're likely to find in a hero. And he hasn't saved the world or anything. He is simply taking care of his village. As such, the monotony of these tasks feel deliberate in making you value the simplicity of helping those around you. In contrast to the extravagant circumstances of previous Zelda games that defined our protagonists as heroes, running errands around the village is what made this Link a hero from the beginning. Throughout the game, a great chunk of his journey is spent reuniting the people of his village
I don't think
and inspiring
it's
those
going-
around
I
him
don't
with the
think
sense
it's
of
going to-
responsibility and selflessness that has already been established. Saving the world is
I'm
just a
gonna do
bonus.
some writing now
That's
until
why
I
I
fall
value
asleep.
this Link.
And I'm gonna
It's a
enjoy this
boring
video.
intro to a
I'm
boring
very
life.
hooked.
He likes it that way. It's not often that an adventure game like Zelda can depict something like this with such humanity, but Twilight Princess absolutely nails that.